Welcome to the third of these videos about what's happening inside the Army while we continue to deal with coronavirus. News on what's happening with training in a moment, but first, I hope you'll remember the recruiting campaign that was launched earlier this year.
Come on mate, you're nearly there.
The problem now, with most things in society having ground to a halt, is that there's a risk that the public might think that we've stopped recruiting. That's not the case. We're open for business. In fact, to get the recruiting message out there right now, there's a new radio ad and some TV ads that have been made very relevant to what's going on now. They've already been aired over the past few days and will run again in May. They'll also go on social media. It's really important that we get talented young people joining the Army, so please get behind the campaign and support it. Remember, our Army is recruiting now and always. And the good news on training is that some of it has already started up again. Joint Helicopter Command has resumed essential flying training, and the Army is planning and getting ready to start training again as soon as possible. This will be guided by the best medical advice and in line with government policies that affect everyone at the moment, making sure that any activity is safely managed. Dates of return to training will be issued by your chain of command, but what we do know is that our initial focus will be on basic training, with Catterick planned to start first and then Pirbright due to be next. We know we've got about 3,000 people in the recruitment pipeline who've passed assessment and are keen to get on with their career. So Winchester as well should just be a few days later. Do follow your unit site on Defence Connect for details of what's happening for your unit. Just a quick message now on using social media. Please make sure that you and the people you work with are aware of the social media policy that we have, just like in any big organisation, and that you stick to what it says. The policy is all about how we can use social media to tell our stories well and in line with our values and standards. And this applies whether you're a regular, a reservist, on duty, off duty, and wherever you may be. You'll find it online in the Army front door part of Defence Connect. You need to know as well that there's been some further advice about social media while we deal with coronavirus. You'll find the link in the notes to this video on Defence Connect. Being ready and resilient is right at the centre of what we're all about at the moment. And that means keeping fit, getting enough sleep, and eating well. This week, a reminder about good food. Hopefully you've seen this, the Healthy Soldier Cookbook. But if you haven't already got it, the good news is it's available on the internet.
This recipe...
Just search for Healthy Soldier Cookbook. You can watch videos of how to cook nutritious, tasty and simple recipes. And you can download the whole cookbook if you want. And staying healthy, of course, is another way of taking pressure off our NHS. Right now, there are lots of questions emerging about coronavirus and how we deal with the risk as we start looking ahead to future training. Defence Connect has turned out to be a very useful tool for raising issues, sharing best practice and working together across the Army to come up with novel solutions. Here, for example, is a discussion about what quarantine measures are required ahead of some overseas developments. And the result of this discussion is an isolation FAQs pack that's being created for anyone who may be worried about what quarantine measures will involve. And all because somebody raised it as a question to the whole Army on Defence Connect, and the answers soon came in from the experts who knew the detail. Finally, if you've got a partner or children, we know there's a lot of uncertainty for them about all sorts of Army business affected by coronavirus. The Army Families Federation is there to help. The AFF understands things like the stresses of assignment freezes, impacts on schooling, key worker status, essential training, or wondering how and when we're going to get everybody back into their workplace safely. They have a direct link to our personnel branch, welfare organisations and Army Comms, so the Army Families Federation are an excellent source of help and support for us all. Your local hive is a really good place to turn to as well. Please tell your families about what's happening and make sure that you pass on what your chain of command tells you and where they can find information. Remember, we're all in this together and we must stay connected and share information to help each other. Stay safe.